bottom line, good morning, children of God. Good morning. It's a pleasure to have each and every one of you here with us this morning. Let's stand, join together, and sing in the silence.
In the silence, there is a sacred place, a secret meeting place. Love is there. In the silence, where every color ends, and every rainbow ends, good is there. In the light, how you find that you know peace of mind. In the silence, your path is made you go, and all your dreams unfold. Love is there. Peace is there. Truth is there. God is there.
In this moment, love is here. Peace is here. Truth is here. God is here. And so we take a moment, O loving Father, Mother God, and acknowledge your presence, moving in and through us this day. This day we choose to be open and receptive and responsive to your instruction and to your guidance. This day we are grateful for the opportunity to come together, to worship, to sing, and to pray in the name, in the nature, in the power of the Christ. Amen.
Oh, that was beautiful. Today's daily word is compassion, and Anita is going to read it for us.
The title is, I Am One with All of Humanity. When I think of the spiritual quality of compassion, I think of Jesus. The love he gave others was like a healing balm. In quiet moments, I remember God's compassion for me and for all people. I set aside time to fully engage with God's love. I extend myself to others through my compassionate thoughts and actions. Throughout the throughout the day, I behold the Christ in others and send them compassion-filled thoughts and prayers. These heart-to-heart connections enhance my sense of oneness with the world. We are one with God and one with each other. I am an expression of God's love, and through compassion, I connect to and serve all humanity. And then the quote is Colossians 3, verse 12. As God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience. Namaste.
So, one of the things we need to do is learn to remember who we are. And to do that, the more often we give power to our word, the more often it will show up in our world. So let's take our affirmation together. I am a child of the living God. I have within me the all-creating power of the Christ. It radiates from me and blesses all whom I contact. I am now in the presence of pure being and immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I am now in the presence. Let's rest into that as we join with Steve. The Father and I are one. From your heart now. And having spoken these words of the truth of us, gently now, easily, we move to that place within that Jesus called our inner closet, our secret place. It is that place within you where there is no question, there is no doubt. The Father and I are one. It is that place in the stillness and in the silence where answers come. In my prayers, I'm learning to ask. Here in the stillness, in the silence, I listen. And I know in this moment, all my needs are met. I breathe and I rest. And in affirming our oneness, I remember each of us is a channel through which good flows into our world. From you, through you, good flows. In this moment, from you, through you, good flows. First into this room, joining together with other thought of like mind, touching, healing, blessing. And in this knowing, I am blessed. I choose to continue to be a blessing. From me, through me, good flows. From this place into our spiritual community, wherever that might be this day. Touching, healing, blessing. Into our city. across our state. Good flows. And in this moment of knowing, I am blessed. I choose to continue to be a blessing from me, through me. Good flows across our country, touching, healing, blessing around our world. Still small voice speaks to you this day. Regardless of appearance, I am there. Good is there. And in this knowing, from me, through me, good flows across our universe. And we remember, as we have been taught, that in spirit and in truth, we are never separate one from the other. And in this knowing, somewhere, somewhen, someone is saying thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that which has come to me this day from you, through you, is gratefully received. And that gratitude swells up and returns to you. And in that moment, the circle of life is whole and complete. In this knowing I rest. I move and have my being, holding to this truth for one holy moment. Knowing there is more yet for me to do this day, but I hold to this experience, holding to this experience, this feeling. I bring my attention back to this now, to this place, and with each and every cell of my being, I join with you and pray as Jesus, our elder brother, has taught us when he said, "As for you, pray therefore in this manner." I don't always get a chance to see these slides before you do. Kind of cool. It's another one of those God moments, little God bumps. We get those occasionally. We use this butterfly as a symbol of transformation. Let's use that word today. Transmutation works as well, but transformation. From one appearance to another, from one circumstance to another, and all is good. When we were working on our color-coordinated vision board and treasure map, one of the things that showed up on mine was a little butterfly. There's a theme here. Butterfly on our window. Regardless of the appearance, I am there. Good is there. The challenge that I have is seeing it, because it's always there. And I just need to say to you this morning, from me and from my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And here's why. You ask great questions. Now, sometimes you ask them out loud, and sometimes you just pull me over in a corner and whisper in my ear. Either way, it works, because you ask great questions. And one of the great questions I got this week was, okay, Rob, I got this peace within me, God within me, I got that. But how do I look at my world and reconcile those two places? I said, well, let's start with this. How many places are there really? I'll give you a hint. I'm holding up the number. It's only one, yes? It's just our perception. So when I start to allow this outer stuff to get to me, I just need to go back to the truth of me and come from there. And when I come from there and step out into that, great stuff happens. On a regular and consistent basis. Now, I have to admit, it doesn't always show up the way I originally thought I wanted it to be. In fact, most of the time it doesn't. However, when I'm willing just to let go of a preconceived notion and a preconceived outcome and say, okay, God, here we go. Let's let good flow. Moving in and through me, I'm ready. Here I am. Ta-da! Right? That's when the words flow that you need. See, sometime today, may not have happened yet, from the time you walk through this door until the time you leave it today, something you needed to hear today will be said. I don't know whether you already heard it or not. It may have come to you this day in the song, love flowing through me, blesses all humanity. That's a huge piece. Thank you, Steve. God is so good. He blesses me. So it may come in the music. It may come from our books. See, because most everything I present to you and share with you, I wish I could say it was my idea. And it is, kinda, in the sense that I'm expressing it, but I got it from somebody else. One of my teachers a long time ago, speech teacher, said, here's how things work in the real world. When you start doing your research, you will come up with a quote and you will say, so-and-so said, and you give the quote. The second time you say just the quote. And the third time you say, I believe, and there's the quote. Right? So you're in good company if you do that. Now, if you're writing it, I have an editor over going like this to me. If you're writing it, give credit where credit is due. Speaking of which, with credit is due, This again is a man thing, isn't it? One of my blessings, absolute blessings, is that none of Charles Fillmore's works are copywritten. Not one. Now, after he passed, and there were some revisions done, those works were copywritten. But his original work, all of it, has no copywritten attached to it at all. You want to know why? Because I copied it. Where did I copy it from? How many minds? One. One mind. One power, one presence, working through me to bring a message to my world that no one else can bring but you. Whoa, there's a little power for you if you need a little trip to work on. But it's the truth. See, you are unique, needed in our world, even if you can't see it. You're an aspect of being presenting the truth as you know it in this moment. Yay. And you have good lessons. We have great teachers that have gone before us. Some are still with us, some are not, other than in the sense that they are always with us. I share with you on a pretty regular basis that when I really need something, when I go into prayer and meditation, many times an answer will come to me in a voice I know. Prior teacher. My parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents sometimes. And sometimes in voices I don't know. So when Rob hears voices, don't wrap me up and invite me to go to 2 North. It's okay. But the answers always come. The ones I really need, I recognize. And see, I think that's what Jesus did when he spoke. When he spoke to you and I, 2,000 years ago, we hear the word today. He spoke to our heart, not to our head. Our challenge is we're still trying to translate from the head back to the heart. And in that space, it shifts from all good to almost. All right? And we just need to make the shift. Let the all good flow, even when I can't see it yet. We live in a wondrous age, just wondrous. In 1984, out of a garage in Silicon Valley, came a device known as the Apple Macintosh. It had 1.3 megabytes of information on it. The new iPhone 6, just brought out, has 16 gigabytes on it, 133,000 times more power in 30 years. Not quite 30 years. And it doesn't represent 0.1% of what you hold right here. I can even make the phone ring. Somebody's saying, what time does church start? No, that's not what it is. But it just fascinates me that we live in this time that we do, that we have the ability to communicate in the way that we do, that we have the ability to share like we've never been able to share before. And the more we touch bases, one human being to another human being, the more we share ideas straight to each other and not filter it through the lens of government, through the lens of social correctness, through the lens of society in general, but go as Jesus did, heart to heart. The more we're going to change our world. We've already done it a lot. We're going to change it some more. How do I know? I don't know for sure. I just believe it to be true. And because I believe it to be true, and I hold to that belief, guess what shows up? Good shows up. And I am in awe when new stuff comes out. Now, that doesn't mean I don't get frustrated from time to time when I work on our stuff and it says, nah, I want to take the day off. Because I'm still practicing, I'm still learning how not to let this affect this. It does, because I still live in the world, but I need to remember I live in the world, but not of it. Or is it the other way around? Always check with my sources. Several of them are going, no. I must have gotten it right because nobody went like that, so I'm... Steve's going, huh? Yeah. But it goes back to the one. There is only one. And that one is good. And so I just need to really start playing with it and understand the gifts that come to me are all good too. Sometimes people say to me, are you sure you're reading from this book? Are you getting your message from this book? Yeah, as a matter of fact, I am. James 2, verse 17. Every good and perfect gift, watch the language, every good and perfect gift is from above and comes down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variableness nor a shadow of change. Everything from our Father comes what? Good, without change. Then how come my world changes around me? Because I'm looking at it differently. It's all about perception. It's about what I understand. One of the premise that we live by is we live the truth we know. See, if you haven't heard some of this before, you go, this is a little weird. Yay! And you have the chance to absorb it a little bit and go, okay, how does that work for me today? Which is what the message that Jesus brought to us was all about. Welcome to the world of weird. Because in his day, what he was offering was way out there. This guy's nuts. Can you believe what he said? If you read them, there's a lot of stories going around about a crazy guy from Galilee, Nazareth. And when he went home, what did they say? Oh, nothing good comes from Nazareth. Oops. And then locally, or not too long ago, it felt locally, someone said, there's no historical proof that Nazareth even existed. We can't find it. I laughed when I heard that. I laughed for a couple reasons. These are the same people that can tell me what the weather is going to be like in 100 years, but can't tell me it's going to rain today. It's theory. Okay. They weren't there then. They're not going to be there then either. Let's get back to the now. And then another group says, well, yeah, now we think we have found signs that, yeah, there probably was a city. It's just about 7 or 8 layers deep, which I kind of find interesting also. In a whole nother vein, put the filter back on, Rob. Put the filter back on. Which tells me what? My world is changing all the time. How is it changing? It is a living, breathing thing as I am. How do I know? Because it came from God. In the beginning, God created all things and named them good. So my challenge then is to learn how to get out of the way of that statement and question it. And by the way, when you do, you're in good company. It began in the garden. We know better than God. Let's go eat the apple. Right? And guess what? You're still eating the apple. As long as you continue to eat, take in the knowledge of good and evil, belief that that's the truth, that duality is the truth, then that's what's going to show up in your world. You're in good company. It's just not the truth. But we're learning how to get to the truth by acknowledging where I am, taking responsibility for where I am, not blame nor guilt. Now, there's a lot of people, this is one of those really fine things you got to take a look at. One of my teachers said, here's where we get into metaphysical malpractice. Metaphysical malpractice goes like this. You brought this on you. Your thoughts, your feelings brought it on you. That's not true. Because thoughts in and of themselves don't do anything. There's a combination of activities. We begin in thought, and then we wrap emotion around the thought, and then we give it the power of our word, and then we take action, and then we get a result. So if we're not getting the result we want, all we need to do is run it backwards. What actions am I taking that seem to be preventing me from doing this, whatever this is for you? What words am I using as a part of my daily language that seem to keep me from realizing and expressing this truth? What emotions do I have about it? What is the original thought? And if I run it all the way backwards, somewhere in there, I'm going to see a hiccup, a whoops. What is euphemistically called in the Bible a sin, which means an error in thinking, in feeling, in speaking. Just an error. No big deal. Guess what? Even with the error, God loves you no matter what. See, it doesn't matter where you have been to get to where you are right here and right now. God loves you. And guess what? That will continue to be true. Never changes. These gifts from above never change. They may change in appearance, but not the gift itself. But sometimes we need reminders. Jesus came to add two things. And see, one of the mistakes in translation, we're familiar with this one. He came to fulfill the word. Yes? That's one translation. It's not correct, but it's one. The correct translation is, I came to add to the word. Not fulfill it, but add to it. And what did he add? Life eternal, which had been kind of hinted at, but not really discussed. And he added this, a greater commandment, love one another even as I have loved you. He really laid down the love piece that hadn't been, it'd been there, but not in the same way. And then he really wrapped it all together. And I think probably in the most important way is he asked the question this way, where does God live? Within you. So it's not about a God out here. It's God right here. So it's not about good coming from there. Where does good come from? Here. So when we work in our prayer and meditation, when I say to you, from you, through you, good flows, that's not just a good bumper sticker. Well, it is a good bumper sticker, but it's the truth. It flows from you, through you. The challenge is a lot of times we don't see it. Rob, if you only knew, and you then present me with a list of your activities, if you only knew this about me, you would never say that. And you're welcome that I don't show you my list. This is a long one too. Sure, because we're all growing, we're all learning. We're all trying to figure out what's next. I asked myself that question all the time. God, what's next for me? What's the next step for me? How can I find, and I'm so thankful, like again, I go back to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for asking me the questions so that I can look at how to present information that I believe to be true to you in a different way. I had somebody come to me not too long ago and said, you know, Rob, you say the same thing over and over and over and over again. I went, yeah, I do. He said, could you give it to me in a new way? Sure, not a problem. So I'm working on that, and I'm going to tell you over and over and over. Now, I'm not really telling you, I'm just laying it out there. Who am I trying to convince? Me! I just get to share with you how warped I am. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. Right? Because I know that what I need will come to me. And it always begins this way. Always, always, always. I breathe. And I paint a picture. And I invite you to do this with me. Breathe. Paint a picture. The picture I want you to paint is this body temple, right where it sits, right here and right now, warts and all. Got it? To that picture. I love you. Together? I love you. Breathe. To that picture, I bless you. Together? I bless you. Breathe. To that picture, I appreciate you. Together? I appreciate you. Now we're going to take 2 breaths. To that picture, in this moment, all is good. I behold the Christ. Together? I behold the Christ. All good gifts.
Thank you for listening. Please feel free to pass this message along to your friends and family. You can obtain additional audio tapes or CDs by visiting our website or by calling our office at 541-772-6902. We invite you to join us in prayer. We know that prayer works, and now you can send your prayer request to our prayer team here at Christ Unity Church by using the form on our website. The activities, programs, and services of this ministry are presented on a love offering basis. All gifts, regardless of size, are gratefully accepted. You may participate either by sending your gift to Christ Unity Church, 540 North Holly Street, Medford, Oregon, 97501, or by visiting us on the internet at www.unitymedford.org.